Oh, you know, these are the talking points because they're still relevant here. NRG gonna be holding with that GOATS defense again, no surprises. Team Envy going for the scouting Sombra. Jaru is certainly very capable on this hero, but it may be back to brick jail for you. Hey, at least you get 3 squares a day.
Exactly. It's Elievote going to be switching off of Roadhog as well. So that's just the cheeky thing that some people are trying right now is go on the Roadhog.
Go for a lucky hook.
Yeah, go for that lucky hook. If you hook someone, they're dead. And then you get 6v5. You get a point A take really quickly. We have yet to see that work, but you keep trying, it might. So Team Envy now going to go ahead and go into space. That's only half of it. We're just going to drop down just a little bit as they're going to go ahead and hop over. Interesting how the boosters work. Also in space, the technology available in the Overwatch world is just bar none some of the greatest in human history.
But now we're back inside and things are loud, and so is Team Envy. They're hoping for something here. Trill gets stunned out. Ooh, fire goes down. That's definitely
hello,
reset.
Byram. Where'd you come from? And you know, and actually, I remember last season when we were kind of getting to know Byram a little bit more, just, you know, us two, is, sounds like we were like a throuple or something, but NRG Esports, Byram, in the past, when things have kind of, when everyone else seems to not be taking it up, right, Byram's the one getting those frags, and it's cool to see that happening again, because we haven't really seen it in the last 2 maps.
Yeah, he's definitely in the conversation for, you know, top fragging Zens within North American contenders, and it's good to see that, you know, he's staying sharp right here as Envy taking a long look at the tall climb.
I think in particular, Byram was one of the colder ones going into the last couple games. And so when he's good, I think it's kind of like that win more attitude, right? When Byram's feeling good, the whole team feels good, everyone can win a little bit easier. And I think that's just Zenyatta in general for every team. So Team Envy now still on this attack. We're going to actually see more do-si-do than anything else right now. NRG Esports now going to use that Earth Shatter. Good barriers coming from Team Envy. They're going to get that first kill on to Sneg. So this is a 65 for them. Elievote is going to get D-Max. Is that going to be enough? Using that Earth Shatter. Kenster going to counter that with that Graviton Surge, but there is a counter to that on the other side, that Transcendence. And this is what we mean by that rehearsal, right? Like, that's all part of that piece of music that they're playing that we call GOATS.
Exactly, a lot of great reactions, so many counters into Home Depot. Transcendence coming in a little bit late from Byram. Couldn't save Kenster's life, but it's certainly going to make things interesting for this Shatter.
There's an interesting Shatter. It seemed like there's a little bit of lag involved on that one. Team Envy, though, going to fall prey to the Graviton Surge. Somehow, NRG Esports able to bring this defense back from the brink, and Team Envy took so long to get those 2 techs. They're now down to 1 minute and 14 seconds.
This is a very awkward position for Envy. A well-placed grab for Sharp, but the damage didn't come through. It was stand 1 swinging his hammer like a madman who picked up the frags for NRG. So Envy now, they will have ultimates of their own, but despite the time and, you know, safety that the sound barrier and trans from Fire and Crimzo can buy them, they haven't been using those opportunities to pick up frags in really any conclusive fashion.
NRG Esports looking like the better team, at least for right now, and even further as Trill gonna be knocked down. Sound barrier has to be invested. They're gonna layer Transcendence over that. So if Kenster gets an ultimate, they're not gonna have a Transcendence, and you don't really ever want to see those layers of support ultimates. Very few occasions where that will matter, potentially to counter a self-destruct, but here it did not.
Yeah, here it did not, and that's something that Team Envy can't afford to give. There's only 2 bodies left alive. Somebody has to touch the point and try and start overtime, but Crimso's not going to be one of them.
This is what defense looks like, my friend, but Team Envy going to use that Earth Shatter to try to get onto the objective. Trill is that playmaker for Team Envy. NRG Esports now only with 5 people. Will Team Envy be able to come back at full health? But no, Trill going down as well, so that's a 5v5 now on at the objective. It's pretty even. Sneg's going to get close to being D-Mac. How good is Sharp's tracking? Not good enough. It's the Harmony Orb, I guess, is enough. It's less about the tracking and more about how much energy he has, because he's not flowing right now. And so he might not have a ton of damage coming his way. The self-destruct now gonna take down Mirror on Hammond. Self-destruct now from Snex. This could seal the deal, but it does not. Now we're gonna see Sharp go ahead and throw that Graviton Surge into the rest of Team Envy. And right now, NRG Esports still looking good. And even better, now that round 1 is complete. They just held Team Envy on point A.
That is some incredible play from NRG right there. Great counter charge from stand 1 to deny Trill the last second touch on the objective. And all around, NRG looking very comfortable here. Envy starting to fall apart very slowly but surely. Those bright moments, those plays that we had grown used to with this top-seeded team have not been present in that last fight. A lot of, again, kind of just those winnable moments where, and Envy has been playing, okay, here, I'll couch it like this. Envy has been playing that point A as if it was a win more situation when it was a not winnable situation at all.
I like that because I think in the past with Team Envy, we've talked about that grit, and we actually love that grit, right? Just even when they're down numbers, we're going to bring up South American Overwatch again because that's probably the grittiest of all the regions, right?
No.
Like
Tons
no
of dirt.
Fight is ever lost until everybody is dead, right? And so Team Envy have kind of taken that a little bit. NRG Esports and Mayhem Academy are the other two teams that I think have that grit as well. And so Team Envy in the past have been able just to, bite down very hard and then
pull
just win,
themselves up
right?
by their bootstraps.
But right now, Trill is not that Trill. And Elivote hasn't been that Elivote so far. Honestly, Crimso has been late on a couple trances that have been fight losers at this point. So NRG Esports, in this moment in time, especially in this game, forget about the last 2 weeks. They're playing better than Envy.
Absolutely, and Envy should be quite frightened of what NRG bring out of Spawn, especially if we see a Sombra not likely to be played by the main tank of the team, however. As, if Envy continue to play at this level, NRG will win against them. They must level up.
100% agree. It's time for their next evolution. They've gotten to level 16. I'm ready for my more forward.
So if Gigatrill is a Pokemon, what's his next evolution?
Oh, I have to think about that. I can't just waste that one away. I
Man,
feel like there's
okay.
something there. And so Team Envy though, but that's Chicken Contendies. We're here with NRG Esports and Team Envy right now. They're gonna go ahead and go out to space. Actually, no, they're not in space. They're gonna just go to the high ground and push Team Envy onto the objective. And this is not looking good. Fire going down to prove to be that death sentence that NRG Esports is looking for. Smeck's taken low, almost Team next, but Stanley getting that kill. So 2 members down now for Team Envy. With the way the defensive spawns work here, it'll be very hard for them to come back unless Trill gets a 6-man shatter, and Crimso and Fire somehow are able to get a bunch of kills on the other side. Trill still not even at that Earth Shatter, sticking at 99%, gets stunned, and then almost get taken back. Earth Shatter does go through. No one gets taken down from it. NRG Esports, this is their point to lose. And honestly, this is their point. They're going to win. They're going to move up against Team Envy 2-1 in a lightning quick Horizon Lunar Colony.
Oh yeah, blink and you miss it, kids. Wow, Kevster killed Fire again. That feels so bad. You see that poor Frog's name pop up in the kill feed again. And speaking of that initial pick onto Fire, a lot of times when we see that happen to Lucio's, one of the most mobile, most self-sufficient heroes in the game, die to Zarya's, it's often due to a lobbed long-range nade from that Zarya. So that means, a couple of things. One, he may not have been watching those sightlines. Kevster might have gotten lucky. Trill might have dropped his shield at the wrong time, or Fire was out of position. This is a fragging Lucio that we all love for his, playmaking ability, but that does mean, again, like the other members of his team, Trill in particular, that you can find yourself out of position sometimes. And that was a pick that Envy could not afford, and with that they give up Horizon Lunar Colony.
Well, I think the prophecy is actually kind of coming true, what we talked about after that first map, right? Like, what if Trill is just having a cold day, right? When you put
is he on 0 ping? Is that what's happening to him?
If you are putting all of your eggs in one basket like that, right? When that day is happening, you have to make sure someone else is ready and prepared to take up that banner. And right now, I don't think anyone has done that for Team Envy. We're seeing Trill, again, it could be the ping. He is in Australia, and so he does get a little bit of leeway for that, but to be that out of position that much, it's 2 things. That's on Trill, but that's also NRG playing really well. Like, this is some good NRG Esports. This is reminding me of those first 2 games, right, when they went 8-0 for their first 2 series, and we're so close to getting that map win-loss record for NA, which is 10 map wins, and they just fell apart at the seams against 2 academy teams, not academy, 2 path to pro teams. And now that they're facing Envy, it's like none of that happened. It's really awesome to see. And I just kind of want to bring up, like, even the way that we were talking about them at the beginning, just as definite underdogs, right? They are not the underdogs right now.
Oh no, I mean, just 2-1 against Envy, who, by the way, have never lost a series and had only until today lost 2 maps. So that kind of shows how dominant they've been in this group. Yeah,
already.
Exactly. Feels Feels bad, man, but that's, you know, kind of how the streakiness goes sometimes. And, you know, when you're known as a team who maybe the discipline is not necessarily the first word that comes to mind, rather it's the flash and the pizzazz, you can find yourself on the other side of that eventually.
But I'm actually going to counter that, because last week they had the discipline, right? Remember, we said that some of the most polished just contenders play that we had seen, right? But we're just not really seeing that right now, and they're obviously capable of it. But we keep, again, it's like, is this Envy or is this NRG? They're just being the better team right now. That's what I'm seeing. Are they causing these mistakes? Like, we could talk as much as we want about Envy, you know, Trill being out of position and that they're losing this game. But on the other side of it, NRG is doing all they can to win it. They just held Envy on point A on Horizon Lunar Colony. That is something that is incredibly difficult to do in general.
You rarely ever see point A holds on Horizon Lunar Colony. It's like one of those points that you just accept will be given up eventually. And yeah, we need to give credit to NRG. They are playing a very good game right now. You lead the horse to water, it still might not drink, but NRG are very thirsty, thirsty for those map wins. And they might find a little bit more here on Junkertown, ironically, because it's in the desert.
And so the other thing that NRG were able to do is looking at the map win-loss percentage for Envy, Hybrid is the one that they're worst at, right? NRG were able to take 2 maps, Assault, Control, right? And so Team Envy win the map that they have the lowest percentage on, but they have lost the ones in which I believe that was also their first loss on Horizon Lunar Colony. It was. And so, like, what is this world? What is this timeline at this point in time? Because if NRG were able to win a second map, it should have been King's Row, but it wasn't.
Maybe Team Envy preparing a little bit too hard for Hybrid and forgetting their basics there on Assault and Control. We talk a lot about, you know, looking ahead, and Envy, since they are that top seed, they have to be keeping those playoffs in mind. So we can't count out the fact that that might be influencing their decisions. But hopefully we can see some more of the old Team Envy here on Junkertown. Elivo on the Bastion to start things off, and I really like this. I hope that we get to see the Bastion continue, because we already have Trill on the Reinhardt, which is a given, but Jaru on the Orisa signals we might have some...
Thought about it. Did you see like the half second, right? Where obviously on the comms like, do I keep?
Do I keep? Safety egg?
Everyone's
safety
like, exactly. Right? And so Team Envy don't have to deal with that Bastion any longer. But hey, that's actually a really good example of what we talked about. Bastion just pushing defenses away and then switching and then getting onto the payload. So that's what we were talking about a little earlier. Trill getting taken very low. Only 3 of those bars remain there. Almost able to take them down. NRG Esports, they gotta make sure that they don't let themselves lose on Escort, which has happened a lot to them over this season. Just a 40% map win percentage on Escort. And so NRG Esports, they're trying to change things around at this point, right? But they also have a 40% win percentage on Hybrid, so that didn't work out for them last time. Trying to change history for them now.
A little bit of a rotation here from Team Envy. If they get a pick here, oh, nice. Then they'll stand between NRG and that teammate getting back to the rest of the squad. So this is a really good move right here. Stand one also taken very low. It actually forces the trans.
The trans was absolutely necessary there, because they were always going to lose a fight in this situation. So it's better just to commit and have Envy kind of commit everything else to wipe you, but you're still not going to have that trans. But actually, he's at 40% already, so that's not going to be that big of a deal. But that fight took so long to lose. NRG might be giving up this first point.
If they do recontest, it's not going to be as a full 6-man. Poops might have to just sound barrier everybody in if they want to go for such an investment. But wisely, I might say, they hold their horses for that high ground defense on Streets phase. This is very easily snowballable by either side. So NRG have more tools in the bank right now, so they do hold that inherent advantage, especially this positioning right here. It's so much easier for Kevster to shell down on Envy than for Sharp to try and lob those nades up.
Stand one going to go ahead and drop down. And Kevster going to give that ally barrier to keep him alive, but they're unable to find anything with that initial engage. A soft engage, if I say so myself.
NRG also holding on to those ultimates still. Nobody's yet pulled the trigger, and that shatter feels bad. Yeah,
so NRG Esports, though, going to go ahead and use every ultimate except for Kevster's Graviton Surge, even though they are already ahead in this fight. Team Envy going to be going down, and this defense will continue. finally seeing defenses. I'm so happy about that. We saw point A hold earlier. Now we're really seeing street space come into play because this is another spot that kind of people walked through earlier on in this map's history.
Yeah, back in the day, nobody really gave a lot of resources to holding Streets phase, but when you can rotate those ultimates very disciplined like NRG has so far, then this high ground becomes very holdable. But Trill already owns it, gets sucked up in the grab.
Graviton Surge, everyone has to take so much time walking up the stairs. The Stairmaster can be rough. It's one of the harder machines at the gym. And Team Envy, though, going to use that self-destruct. Elibo's been working out those self-destructs. 1 kill for him. Team Envy now have that 6v5. NRG Esports, though, they will get an opportunity to recontest at least. Take a little bit more time off the clock. You don't get a ton of time after capping the second point, so you really want to just siphon away that time.
Exactly. Team Envy still, they're hoping for a full map finish, so this Earth Shatter, Trill is likely going to throw it out here and give the rest of his team time to work up to some of their own. Rally available for Mirror, but no longer!
So their Shatter from Trill looks like it will be enough. And NRG Esports not coming like with that same energy that they've had the last couple maps, right? Just kind of letting Team Envy be Team Envy. And now Team Envy are going to enter that third point with almost 4 minutes left. Junkertown third is the hardest part of this map. There's 2 places to hold it, and Team Envy will have a lot of time to get through this first point.
Exactly. They want to force NRG to take the disadvantageous fight on the fidget spinner, that big those 2 big spinning platforms right there. But Team Envy, they don't really have many ultimates coming in here. Maybe Grav for Sharp coming in soon, which will likely be countered by Byron. NRG are the ones who have the better ultimate economy, and with that rally, they're going to speed in here, try and claim that cart.
And Team Envy are going to speed right away. They're not going to win a fight where they don't have rally and NRG does. And so this is just like them doing what they need to do. NRG might have expected them just to release that time. Over to NRG's side, Hamlin's going to use that Earth Shatter. A couple people on the ground. Self-destruct is in the back line.
Hey.
2 kills for Smex. That's what you need if you're NRG, and it's coming from a guy that you can expect it from at this point. That is Smex.
Playing so well for NRG right here. Great combo between him and Stand One. See, these are the little bits of synergy that we haven't really seen from Envy today.
Super smexy.
Very smexy. Flexy smexy. So Team Envy, they themselves just got to look for that team play. Jaru was a big setup man for Envy just last week, and we've really yet to see that Brigitte shine.
And so, Team Envy going to be coming in with the Graviton Surge. They're not going to use theirs first. We're going to see NRGs to lead things off. No kills coming from that. There was no kind of follow-up to that Graviton Surge, so that's kind of a why not for NRG Esports. Now, Team Envy going to be using their ultimates. NRG might have a hard time holding here as they're at a little bit of an ultimate disadvantage. As Trill going to be using the Earth Shatter. It is going to be enough to take Stand One back. Smex getting a return kill onto Elivo. Needs the NRG Esports have the possibility of some sort of presence on this payload, and they're still trades. The defensive spots are going to be a little bit better for them, but at the very least, they've caught to take this fight, and it's going to be extended. It's going to continue. Actually, no, Team Envy going to cede that space. NRG Esports take it.
That was a super awkward place to fight for Team Envy. I'm going to assume it wasn't really their choice right there. You saw Trill trying to make the most of it, swinging his hammer, getting that damage, getting that shatter charge back up to 62%. But as it were, NRG had the better, longer sight-wise. Byron was able to hold himself back away from the fight, and a shatter to open things up will immediately net NRG 2 kills.
Yeah, the shatter was there, but I think Crimson was already stuffed. So he's going to go down, and that's a little... It's a little rough for him. It's a little bit extra coming from NRG Esports. But now Team Envy only has Transcendence. Actually, they're coming up on their ultimates. NRG Esports have a grab of their own, but no support ultimates.
Yeah, so that means NRG can either hold very aggressively, pop one of those tank ultimates early, or just give up a bunch of space to buy their support some time. And that looks like Samway going to go for the latter, as engaging very proactively when you have no safety net can be very risky.
And this is actually a smart move by NRG because they have Team Envy have a ton of space that they need to go on this payload. So even if they lose here, they're going to get another chance. But Earth Shatter going to be going through from Trill. Smex getting another kill. Man, Smex, you are the guy that NRG Esports always needed. I know that ZP and Avast always talk about his owl potential, but I think one of the biggest differences between a good Contenders player and a good Overwatch League player is consistency. And then Smex is definitely one of the most consistent members of NRG and in Contenders.
Exactly. They call him the Zenyatta Killer. I'm not going to try and pronounce his real name. Sorry, bud. I just mangle it. But NRG right here off of the back of some incredible tank play by Smex, Kevster, and Stan1 are standing in front of this. Oh, he gets 8, though.
Oh, so that Graviton Surge getting eat means that Team Envy have a good opportunity to try to make themselves on this payload. Trill going to get that kill, too. Unfortunately for Team Envy, there's still so much time and length for this payload to go. NRG Esports are going to come back, so let's take a look at those ultimates real quick.
Yeah, Stan1 ready with that Earth Shatter. Team Envy ready with their Shatter and the Sound Barrier as well. Poops dropped it in an attempt to save NRG from that last fight. Regardless, though, this will be an overtime brawl. And so Envy must keep one body on this payload at all times. If they can open with a very surprising Shatter, that's going to be their ticket forward. Jaru ready with that rally as well. Pops it right now. Give a little cushion.
Oh, Earthshatter goes through. Elivo is on the ground, but the Sound Barrier is there to counter. This might be a situation where NRG just didn't have the tools that they needed to fully defend, but they're doing a pretty good job here. Stan1 gonna knock 2 members on the other side down. Getting that first kill, though, so this is a 6v5. Kevster getting a return. Now it's a 5v4 for Team Envy. Kevster so low. Harmony Orb almost enough. Gonna go ahead and throw that Graviton Surge out. This is looking dire for NRG Esports right now. Unfortunately, in the fight that they lost before this, they were unable to get the ultimates that they needed to fully hold Team Envy. Because if they had a couple more check marks, they might have been able to do it. But Team Envy come out in the clutch. They haven't done it yet, but it looks like they will.
Very likely. Super unlucky for Smex. A beautiful Shatter by Stan1, and all he needed to do was lob that mech into the backline like he'd done so many times before, but it lands on the ledge itself. And so we will see Team Envy finishing out all of Junkertown. Unlucky, man. I was so excited. I was, readying my poor soy voice to scream, oh, again with the bomb.
Unlucky indeed. I mean, they played pretty well, and that last defense shouldn't have gone as well as it did for them, right? They were able to at least stall them out for a little while, and Team Envy just got those check marks. They had the economy at their disposal in NRG Esports. That's what feels bad. The timing of that was rough.
It's like what they say, right? Money can't buy you happiness, but it sure buys you options.
Yes, I believe money can also buy a little happiness.
A little potentially. I mean, Team Envy should be happy with their map finish here on Junkertown. It was looking,
they were handed a gift almost, right? and so
tax-free.
But still, not at any point during that push from Team Envy did I feel confident about it, right? And
it was like it could have slipped out of their grasp at any moment.
And so, and remember, NRG Esports have an abysmal win percentage on this map, right? And so it is on this map type, it is 40%. And so the numbers aren't on their side, and maybe we're seeing exactly why in that situation.
I would say so. The defense certainly full of, holes at times. But how many, just harkening back to the Stage 1 finals, everybody's like, oh my gosh, SF Shock finished Rialto. This is totally winnable. Boom! Vancouver blows through, sets a new time record, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's still possible for NRG. They still control their destiny here.
Let's see if they're going to be more Vancouver Titans or more, I think, NRG, because I believe they've been in this position before and have not been successful at it. And particularly on this first initial attack, they've been held with a lot of time outside this first one. And they're going to go ahead and look at this. Do you smell the Gorgonzola? Is this more brie? Is this a little bit more Munster? And so NRG Esports going to use this teleporting Bastion and see if it'll work, and it's giving them a lot of space. But actually, look at this flank. I like this right now. The Symmetra turret's going to help, butter them up a little bit. And Kevster actually going to get a kill. Oh, that's so great. Onto Crimzo with the turret. Oh, that's great. That's great.
It's so funny from afar because, like, when you're caught in one of those Symmetra turrets, it's the most terrifying and horrible noise ever, just like the laser hammer, and then you can't really move. But from, from a bird's eye view, you just see that poor Zenyatta just beep, boop, right? 2 little shoelaces took him down.
Yeah, I know, right? And so Team Envy got to figure this out. They haven't done it so far, and look at the ultimates at this point. NRG Esports way ahead.
Very far ahead, and Team Envy have to feed themselves into this Bastion's face in order to get it. Ooh, and I love this teleporter play. This is so good. Mirror even on this Hanzo can use the teleport to set up a crossfire. It's still alive. Oh, now it goes down. The possibility of that pincer was available for NRG, but it looks like they're going to take that front facer fight.
Well, they've given up positioning onto the payload. Oh, onto the water tower. I love it. Oh, and we've got the wall coming out as well. Kevster trying his best in the Dragon Strike. Look at how perfectly placed literally every shield on the field is right now, even though Bastion does go down. And the res is going to come right behind the shield. That is actually some beautiful Symmetra placement there. You don't get to say that very often. And ladies and gentlemen at home, I think I'm feeling a little bit more Titans at this point because NRG Esports making this Symmetra work. Snaps. Snaps.
Oh, yes.
Snaps.
Oh, yes. Snaps all around. What a beautiful play. Envy, again, you know, tried to react the best that they could, took down that Bastion, but if you have Pooks' Mercy on the field, you know he's going for that res, and boy, oh boy, smell up and wake the Gorgonzola. Somebody's got to put that on mug or something.
Yeah, this is super sneaky cheese at this point. It's got to be that Gorgonzola. And NRG Esports now going to keep going with their G. Stand 1 already using that Battle Bongo. The Supercharger is out, and so even Kevster and those turrets are going to be doing a ton of damage. And right now, Team Envy, I think, smartly just going to wait. But something that they're not really used to is also Mirrors providing the vision with that Sonic Arrow. And that's not something you really deal with. That's why you use Sombra in a lot of these comps. They're going to go ahead and use the teleporter to reposition. Smek's going to assert his dominance against his counterpart, Elivote. But you're seeing a whole lot of nothing happen. And that's actually because NRG Esports, you know, haven't really gotten that confirmed kill yet. With this comp not quite working as well so far in a street phase. They got to find something out of it.
It's been mostly dancing from NRG so far, but to their credit, they haven't lost a member during all of these relocations, which is very impressive. Dragons now gobbling up the room for Team Envy. Stand 1, the first victim.
Smek's getting DMAC'd, though. That could be a little bit more complicated. Byram getting 2 more kills on this Bastion. Oh my goodness, what year is it? NRG Esports is killing Team Envy with the Symmetra composition that they're still on.
Fire,
and look at those shoelaces.
Fire, no, not like this. Fire. Oh, that's just filthy at this point. NRG, man, oh man. And this is the thing. They're still running it. They're still. Kevster put up another telly. This is craziness. What is the one thing that Bunker Comp doesn't have? Any kind of mobility. How are you going to rotate? It's always the most risky part of the Orisa setup, but if you have a teleporter, Envy, they haven't even been able to catch Orisa.
Well, and what's really cool here is that if anyone goes after Smek's on the payload, and look at the shield there, too. He can be pretty safe where Envy is right now. If anyone goes on to Smek's, then the bullets from the Byram is going to come in as well. And Team Envy obviously do not know how to deal with this. They are lost for words right now. They're just going to try to just win it out the regular way. Supercharger is out as well. NRG Esports needs to find kills from this ultimate, and now the Earth Shatter coming through. Jaru is going to get taken, or get that Bastion off of this field. NRG Esports, good work for most of it. You're going to go ahead and throw another wall out if you're Kevster. Top tier Symmetra play coming from. I literally just rose my hand and saluted.
There is a double salute going on at the caster desk right now for NRG, sticking with that composition all through Streets phase. Okay, you only have 1 minute and 38 seconds, so now you got to swap over to Goats. But it was, holy cow, holy cheese on ride, man.
Hey, if
some kind of fun.
If they were on the defense, that would be working wonders right now. And so NRG Esports coming in. They know that Team Envy had invested a couple of those ultimates. This is a junk rush. There's no way they're going to be able to defend against this Graviton Surge. So that's just 30 seconds off the clock. But now things are starting to maybe even up for them. NRG Esports are able to get to that rally, and that is what a lot of these teams need to get onto the payload. But as fun as Kevster on, you know, Symmetra was, it is a big reason why there's only 1 minute left.
Exactly. The setup takes quite a bit of time. Is it worth it to hear the joke if the setup takes 3 years? I don't know. Worth it if we get to see more Symmetra Bastion. But NRG now do find themselves in that do-or-die moment because the attacking spot is so far away. This will likely be their only full push, and nobody really close to any of those tank ultimates. Team already with 3 in hand.
I almost feel like now, you know, revision, you know, retrospectively, it's a lot easier. They should have just stayed on that last comp. They would have been closer on those ultimates. And they just didn't see that last fight going so quickly. Team Envy, though, using the rally, gonna help them out. Smek's already team-macked. NRG Esports definitely on the back foot here on this fight, but they're not out of it just yet. 20 seconds remaining. Smex 50% getting back in the mech. Byram so close to that Transcendence.
He only needs to stay alive for 2 more seconds, but that can be an eternity when there are only 9 on the clock for our attackers. Team Envy ready now the second that they go there, but it's a great debate. The rotation comes through.
Yeah, and the Team Envy did not know that Sandlin is behind them. If Sandlin had an Earth Shatter, this game would be continuing with NRG Esports on that payload. Team Envy, though, going to get stunned, and now the ultimates are here. Byram using that Transcendence first, and then followed up by Crimzo on Team Envy, and this is why you don't layer those ultimates. You're seeing it from both teams. Now the entire fight gets to be extended. The Graviton Surge self-destruct is there. Fire getting that kill is going to put Team Envy on top in terms of numbers. Self-destruct is going to be coming out from NRG, but this time Smex not going to be Smexy this time around. Team Envy will be holding them here, but wow, was that entertaining.
Oh, that is, I don't know. It feels almost worth it, man. Feels almost worth it. You had dragons. Like, just think about all the various angles that you have to keep. You only have 2 eyeballs, most members of Team Envy, I'm guessing. And how many things did you have to look at? Bastion shooting at you from one direction. If you're a diva, that is like your worst nightmare, right? Yeah, you got Symmetra, you got Hanzo you got to worry about, you got the halts you got to gobble up with your Matrix, you got Bastion bullets you got to take care of. Man alive.
And so at least Team Envy were able to finally kind of like figure it out. They just pushed through, right? Just like any other bunker comp, just because there's a Symmetra there, just because there's a wall there, eventually, if you are able to take enough space, you will steamroll them out. And we did see that from Envy at the very end, and there was already 3 minutes off the clock for NRG. I love the Moxie. The good old college dingle-dangle comes back again, and it almost worked. It did work. It did work on point A with flying colors, but keeping it on point B, I love the Moxie. I love what they're doing, but it is the whole reason why we're here at Game 5 right now between these 2 teams, and I feel like this is just like the only conclusion that we could have with the series so far.
Oh yeah, no, we have been treated to some quality Overwatch regardless of whoever ends up taking this series. Oh man. It just feels so good. You never see teams stick with it on Streets phase for a reason, but
yeah.
It's still so entertaining.
You know, part of teaching, right, is it's really easy to like tell people why not to do things. It's a lot easier to show them as to why things aren't working out, and it's just so much setup. Even though they were getting the kills after the supercharger came down, and they were unable to get any kills to solidify that second point, that was it for them. They took too long. There was a little over a minute left once they did change, and unfortunately for them, there was also a grab at the ready on the other side that they knew was free because they all just changed characters.
And with GOATs, right, you really need those tank ultimates in order for the GOATs comp to work the way that it was built, really, right? Yeah, you need all the ultimates. But yeah, a very, very good Zarya can build Grav within 60 seconds, but you also have to factor in just the travel distance between that attacking spawn and where the cart ended up. It was almost, a little bit unlucky that the Bastion was so successful, because if they had gotten that Bastion shut down right after point A and swapped to GOATs, it would have been a totally different story.
Well, we're definitely going to get a barn burner here on our 5th map, because both of these teams very good on control. NRG Esports were able to take the first time around, but I feel like whenever we come to the second part, unless you're Fusion University, the other team tends to win it. It seems to change, but that's just my gut. That's just an observation from me. I could totally have made that up. But coming into this fifth control map, the momentum's on one side and it's on Team Envy's.
Yeah, Envy have that are warm, right? Coming off of that Junkertown win. Although NRG took our first control of today, which was Lijiang, and work into Oasis now. Envy, I think they can take kind of the things that they learned playing against NRG into this control round, right? And even though, Theorycraft and you have review and everything, and the coaches will, set up strategies and you'll discuss it amongst your team, there's not really any substitute for actually playing your opponents, right? And getting to learn what their play style is and adapting to that on the fly. And now we are in that map 5. So this has been a considerable amount of time for Envy to, think on it, sit down and be why was NRG successful? How can we shut that down? Bastion notwithstanding.
Yeah, NRG has found themselves in a map 5. This is new territory for Team Envy. Let's see if it's gonna be, manifest destiny for them, or if it's gonna be like us when we play Civ spawning in a desert.
Exactly. Desert on one side, right? Desert on one side and complete tundra on the other side.
Somehow that's how the world works in that game. But coming back to Oasis, last time we actually saw a Game 5 on Oasis, Fact Fiction got hit by a car.
Yeah.
So I'm fingers crossed we get some more car shenanigans, make cars playable, but we're going to go ahead and take it seriously now. We are in a Game 5. NRG Esports competing against the #1, and up until this point, bar none, the #1 team in this group. But NRG Esports made them question themselves, and hopefully you guys at home are questioning Envy at this point, because the way that NRG has been playing them, they're just showing up. They were the better team for a lot of this game up until that second point on Streets phase on Junkertown.
Exactly, and we also have to remember that that this is going to be, if NRG take this map, they will hand Envy their first loss this entire season. They have never lost a series. And that, you know, isn't quite the same kind of history that was on the line in Monday's Fusion University game, but that's still going to be, you know, a big feels good for NRG if they can make things happen here. And I am already very excited for what we might get a taste of. Mirror on the Kevster on the Tracer, and Stan1 picking up that Hammond. Team Envy themselves running a little bit of Sombra Hammond shenanigans, but it will be Elievote taking to the air, reprising his role of the Queen of the Skies.
And this is probably one of the more surprising players we've seen in Contenders was Elievote, and now you just got to get to that rocket barrage. Stan1 already hacked, but Mirror going to get that first kill. This time he is on that Sombra, and that just makes sense to me. Mirror on Sombra. Anyone that has that playmaking potential, I'd love to see Mirror on. So it's been hard to see him on Drake, to be completely honest. The Team Envy going to be able to get that res. NRG Esports does not have a full team right now. Team Envy kind of, you know, using this merry-go-round, using the environment to their advantage, making them very, very slippery for NRG Esports. The Team Envy looking very strong, and we say this all the time, particularly on this map. This map has such an advantage for the first point take that it tends to stay the whole time.
Yeah, you take a look at this real estate. The point itself is just so massive. There are a lot of nooks and crannies and places for highly mobile heroes to hide, like Sombras, Pharahs, and Tracers. So NRG going to have their work cut out for them, simply removing every last member of Envy off of this point. And that's after they've worked their way through the Barrage, through the Valkyrie, through the Nano, all of the ultimates that Envy already have up online. Of course, though, Mirror with the EMP could nullify all of them with a single Q press.
The EMP is going to go through. 4 members get EMP'd. Ellie going to press Q and die, but at least Mirror goes down with them. And Byram, we say this all the time. If NRG Esports and Byram, if Byram is showing up on the kill feed, they are usually winning that fight. NRG Esports now, though, have to maintain that advantage. You're seeing exactly why it's so hard to take over this point, because all Team Envy did was hide for a little while, and that's just been their stall. EMP coming in now from the Team Envy side, and all the energy, all the spirit from NRG Esports has been taken away.
Yeah, unluckily right there, Envy had the advantage in Crimzo, in that Crimzo was holding the high ground that entire time. As mobile as the heroes NRG are running, they don't actually have something like a Winston Diva, you know, even a Pharah to challenge that high ground. Crimzo was completely comfortable that entire fight and in absolutely no danger. So Envy just played that waiting game, waited for their own EMP to come in, and then shut down NRG hard. Kevster on this McCree still yet to really be making a big impact, although he is a hard counter to both Pharahs and Sombras. He requires that setup.
Yeah, Mirror getting taken very low. Soundbayer going to miss out on a Kevster. Maybe he's in a safe place. It looks like he is. Elievote, though, getting a nice midi onto on the other side. And Team Envy, this is the Team Envy that we expected from Game 1, but right now, Byram using that Transcendence is a really good visual into what we've seen so far. It was there to maybe save himself for a member of the team, but even though NRG Esports got that return kill, playing a little bit more control. Did that get stuck? Yes, it did. Sharp is going to get that cold spawn kill onto Greg. That has got to feel good, especially since that character is in the game to counter you.
Exactly, and Kevster taking it. Nobody cares what time it is. Old man gets absolutely buff-kissed for something ultimate would have turned everything around, and Sharp has just been running literal circles around NRG.
He's such a good tracer.
Oh, he's such a good tracer.
Such a good tracer. But why is he a good tracer, right? Let's talk about that. We don't get to see Tracer all the time, and so when you see him on the field, you have to make sure that if you're running Tracer, you're getting to that pulse bomb, right? And not only that, it's this setup. You have to get a kill with that pulse bomb, or else it's just a cooldown and you're just being fancy blinking around. Sharp finding kills, being effective, finding value.
Exactly. There's a lot of different styles of Tracer that you can play. Farming tanks for fast pulse bombs, threatening supports, back line, and Sharp was kind of that
All
do it
of the
all.
above, yeah.
Exactly. But now, since we're on guard for OWC, Team Envy and NRG both going to swap to their version of Goats. Dive Goats for NRG with Stand 1 on the Winston and Trill on the Reinhardt, as you would expect. So, boot potential is actually really huge for teams that run Winston D.Va on this high ground right here, as we see Ellie.
Oh, the seer HamTornado.
Wow,
you're so good.
I mean, no, my job's dropping Stand 1. Come on, man, you know every D.Va flies up onto that high ground to see if you could get a boop kill, and you burn the jump right away.
And this one, that's like the same as the bridge on Lijiang Tower, right?
Exactly.
You know the concussive is coming.
You just walk with your shield down. Man, I've died like this Reinhardt way too many times. I don't care to admit.
Well, you just did.
I
don't know how good that is for you. And so Team Envy now is going to find themselves on top. And now Ellie, look at that ult charge too. Because of that move, she's going to come up. And now Stand 1 switching on to that Reinhardt. Hey, that is a good idea after that Winston shenanigans that you had. Are going to put them up 6v5, but Oasis in general are easily stalled points. And so Team Envy definitely not out of this just yet. And we're not going to see them give up on this, at least for the time being, because they want to take the percentage away.
Exactly. 30% for Envy before they go for that hard reset. Smart move by Stand 1. And actually, you know, maybe we'll give him the credit. Even if Elivote hadn't booped him off, may have given that Winston another shot. But what you really, really want against a Reinhardt like Trill is your own static shielding. This guy will have Shatter, and he will want to use it. You want to at least stymie him, force the Brigida to bash your shield down, rather than offering up a free Shatter like you would if you were
Alright, Team Envy trying to come back into this point. They're going to have to cede a little space because of the rally, but now that they have 1-2 match, we can see it's just a regular old fight. NRG Esports will run out of their armor just a little bit sooner than Team Envy, so there's like a 2-second window where Team Envy do have an advantage, and it looks like they're trying to take it. NRG Esports standing back, and now the Earthshatter is going through. You saw that shield go down just for a second, but Byron, though, going to get that kill. Oh, and another from Smex as well, so the Graviton Surge is not going to come through from Team Envy. NRG Esports are going to own this point, and might own it for a little while longer, because look at those ultimates. Oh,
those are the ults you want, man. Team Envy, Trill trying his darndest with that Shatter again, though. One good Shatter does not a one fight make. You have to have that follow through. And NRG able to save the rest of their teammates with a well-timed sound barrier from Pooks. And now Envy in a very uncomfortable position. How much exactly do we invest in this fight? 70% for NRG. Do we all in here and make the next fight a lot less advantageous? Or do we try and win the slow push?
So the Earthshatter going to be coming from Stand to start things off. Not going to get anything from there. He's actually going to be going back to spawn. Byron unable to save them with the Transcendence. And now that Sharp is getting close to that Graviton Surge without a Transcendence on the other side for the sound barrier. This might be a loss for NRG Esports. They're up near 90% already. Envy 100% in.
Yeah, that was not how you would like to get from that Transcendence. Sharp actually didn't even need to use the grab in this occasion, so Envy now on the other side, very comfortable for their next push. NRG gotta make some kind of inroads. They'd rather make it sooner than later and tie things up here 1-1. Again, Envy, this is their first loss in Contenders if they allow NRG to take this back.
Team Envy don't want this to go to round 3. They want to stop it right here, right now, and potentially they're going to have to do it a couple more times. Earthshatter coming through from it. Trill Smex is onto the ground, will be demeched. Team Envy still in control. They did invest a ton into this, but at least on the other side, NRG doesn't have a ton on theirs. Depending on how NRG comes back into this fight, this might be what they're working on.
Exactly. Time can only tell, but there's only 30 seconds of it left for NRG to make inroads. Team Envy very comfortable so far. Elivote has gotten naked bomb kills in the past, so it's certainly a possibility for this D.Va.
And so the fight is going to go ahead and start onto the objective. Proper NRG Esports have a Transcendence. There is one on the other side. Sound Barrier, they're only on one, and that's actually for NRG. This is potentially the last fight of this game. If NRG Esports are able to take it away from them, Team Envy now going to use those ultimates. Crimso using that Transcendence. You're going to go ahead and get a self-destruct D-Max as well. Team Envy want to end this right here, right now. They're setting themselves up to do just that. Graviton Surge is the cherry on top for Team Envy, and NRG are going to be thinking about Symmetra for a very long time.
I'm still thinking about it. Only one Zarya left for NRG, and Team Envy clean it up. Very good play from, and where was this Envy team? Where was this Envy team the entire series? Good timing from Sharp right there to wait until Byram's trance had died down.
A lot more polished.
Then to go in with that grab. Exactly. Team Envy not going to be dropping their first series today.
Great teams tend to get better as the pressure rises, and I think at this point we can say that about Envy, but NRG losing that out is rough because they had the chance to win. I'm still thinking about Symmetra. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? It worked on point A. I like that they tried. I like seeing new things here in this meta, but unfortunately they were unable to take them down, falling 2-3 to Envy in the end. Envy maintains their top spot on the standings, but they do double, I guess, their loss, the map losses that they have.
It will happen sooner. Eventually, but good play from NRG too. This is a team that, again, as much as we've been hyping Envy throughout this series, NRG are no slouches.
I would be absolutely terrified to see them in the tournament. And so this kind of reminds me of, I'm going to bring back some Flesh Sports again. One of my favorite underdog teams that ever has entered the NCAA tournament is Wichita State. I don't know why. I have no bearing to Kansas, but the Shockers tended to do really well in the tournament. They ended up making the Final Four or Elite Eight once, and NRG could be that, right? They could be that 12 seed, that 13 seed if you're looking at the NCAA tournament, or maybe the 5 or 6 seed going into this, but we just saw how close they were. Reminds me of end of season Envy from last season. And so if NRG are able to kind of get that kind of end of season Envy magic going, they are going to be absolutely terrifying in this playoff bracket, especially since this group specifically, outside of I think the top, like from like 2 to 7, right, the parity is there. We actually saw Phase 2 push square one, so it's all the way down to that 8th spot too.
Exactly. And as we take a look at the standings now, Envy do maintain that first spot, although they're one of the only teams in this group that doesn't have a number in their name. Square one right behind them in the 2nd spot. Yeah,
our next game is actually, I believe, going to be Atlanta Academy versus XL2 Academy. If you're looking at XL2, if you lose that game, look at where you're at, potentially at relegation. So this next game for Atlanta and XL2 are must-wins on both sides of the coin. But we got to get there first. I'm so excited to finish out the day. We got a 5-game set. Are we going to see more? In 6 minutes, ZP and Avast will come back and cast the last half of games that I'm sure are going to be amazing. We'll see you soon.